Hey guys, welcome to this video. I thought I would do a full rundown on oil. Markets are a bit slow today. You can see there isn't really much going on. We don't really celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK, but I know many of you around the world, US, Canada, St. Lucia, places everywhere do. So happy Thanksgiving if that is your thing. Perhaps you can watch this and give thanks for the fact I've posted it. Maybe not. No, I'm only kidding. But anyway, let's go ahead, get my free training underneath. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Oil has been a bit of a roller coaster for many people for a long time. Okay, you had the real doldrums, you had the real drop all the way down to minus dollars. In other words, people were giving away their oil. Okay, it cost them too much to store it. They didn't want it anymore. To war outbreaks, and of course, very much a demand for oil because of an energy crisis. Now, either case, they were pretty awful times, and you're getting to a point now where you can see comments from places like Russia or indeed OPEC, Saudi Arabia. They're saying oil prices are stabilizing, and it's because you're getting to a point where there isn't overwhelming demand. Okay, there isn't overwhelming supply, and prices are just resting along more or less a median amount, I would say. Throughout time, it's probably about halfway between, well, almost halfway between the highest, I would say, and the lowest. Okay, so a median value or an average. So it really begs the question then, if we're at an average price of oil and markets are cooling down, where is it going to go in the future and what is it going to do? Now, I'm going to go over this in both a fundamental and a technical analysis form. Lots of people who follow me all over the place are heavily invested or interested, or both, I guess, in trading oil because it's such a contentious topic with everything going on. As of late, you had lots of Middle East tensions and worry. Okay, briefly, you had markets pull up, and then that eroded as there was less worry about what would happen, oil embargo wise, another energy crisis. Demand from China weakening is never good because they consume so much and produce so much, and a lot of that requires oil. And the US stepping up their oil reserves as well. Okay, so supply side, really, you're seeing at that point come up, and that still rests as the over sort of the underlying, if you like, consensus that people aren't really interested in buying oil just yet, or at least in larger quantities. So if you look at something like your weekly, you haven't yet come down to your key 200 MA here, and that would rest in line with these previous long zones. You can see that was a very contentious level because you had many, many hits on this area. Okay, it looked a lot like this. Okay, you come up and down just continuously, and that looked quite weak at the time, but then you shot up. And I've already said about popping to here. I did mention that. Okay, and coming down slightly lower back to where you were. So I wouldn't be shocked if you do get another bounce here. Like I said, the underlying sentiment around this is that there still isn't that demand. I would say you would probably need something very vicious to occur to pull this up and bring up that demand side of the topic. You can see your stock oscillator or your RSI or whatever you want to use, okay? An amalgamation of averages, an amalgamation of data, just another indicator. Don't be so sure that it's going to rise just because you can see it crossing over and you can see it low. It does not mean for definite that you are going to get a reversal now. Do not be one of those people. You're just using it as a gauge because you can now be in the knowledge that this is a low price. You've had several weeks down, or if you go back to 25th September, you've had a pop up, then further move down. So if it does appear that this downtrend continues with that weakening demand, which wouldn't absolutely shock me either, you may find yourself resting down at this key price action level I've labeled on the left. Okay. And that would form the basis for new longs. I would say if you're an investor in oil, you may get a bounce there. If you wanted longer term entries at value, okay, maybe $50 would be better. It's just looking at the long term market, where the price has been, and what is really going to be ideal for the future. Obviously, the lower it is, the better if you're getting long. The higher it is, the better if you're getting short. If you do find this now continues, you get a second lower low, essentially, is what it would require. Then you will have your newfound downtrend. And that would come, like I said, straight in line with what would be a weakening in demand. Okay. So if that occurs, it wouldn't shock me. All right. And like I said, you can see on your monthly, your stock oscillator is rather high. Weekly, it's rather low. So there's always potential to move a little bit more. So I wouldn't be shocked if you get just under this low first. Okay. And you come into these key levels of price action or this really strong floor for price and you move away from there. And or you eventually get lower with an even further waning of demand, about $51, and you get your long side there. In either case, you are now moving down. It might take a minute as well, so you could take advantage of your lower time frame moves quite easily. Okay, you've seen a candle wick here, immediate rejection. You're now pushing back into it with little success. It does turn out that you get to about $81.50 as well. I wouldn't mind scaling in short. Again, in line with that weakening demand. You've just got to be so careful with oil because your minimum size, most brokers, is a micro lot. Okay. And even that moving can rack up some loss if you get really, really quick to the wrong side. So probably looking short 81.5 to $82. If I'm going to buy it, I want a considerable fall. I want something ideal, and I'd like to do it in line with a longer term downtrend. Okay, $61 and beyond lower at that key price action level mentioned because you've got a lot to the left to look at. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that helps. As always, I'm going to write a bit of a description. If you can like, share, comment, subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. It really helps me out. Thanks so much. I will see you in the next one. See you there.